Hey guys, welcome to first Riga Magicians video. My name is Ritvers, and I have made this video to make a sort of a little recap of what happened in the first round for Riga Magicians. In the first round, we were paired against the team called Norway Gnomes, which is led by nobody else than Magnus Carlsen, the very world champion that we have. And they have quite a few really strong players in the team. For the match with us, Norwegians decided not to use Magnus. On one hand, we were a little disappointed that we will not have a chance to play against the world champion. On the other hand, we were also a little relieved that we will not have to face such strong opposition, as we really wanted to start off the season with a victory. So even without Magnus, Norwegians had a really strong lineup, as you can see here. They had Grandmasters Jon Ludvig Hammer and Ariane Tari. Hammer actually a couple of months ago crossed the 2700 line of rating FIDE, even though now he's a little down. So he's really strong, and also Tari, his rating is growing like mushrooms after rain. He's really improving, and yeah. And the last two boards are masters with rating around 2400. So they have a really decent team. We decided to take our strongest players, to choose our strongest players for this match. So both our leaders, Igor's Karolenko and Arthur's Connections, were playing. Igor's actually also crossed the magical 2700 rating line some time ago. He also managed to win the European, not to win, he got the second place in the European Championship. So he's a really strong player. On the second board we had the Arthur's Connections. He's a stable 26 plus rating player, and his rating is growing as well. Tom's Cantons, even though right now his rating is a little lower than it's 2450, he used to have almost 2500. He has 2 Grandmaster norms, so yeah, he's a really strong player. And on the last board, I was playing so that our average team rating would be below 2500. So, in the first round, we scored a victory, 3.5 against half, so very convincing victory. It was Igor's who grinded out Hammer on the board 1, Arthur's won Tari on board 2, and Tom's, he had a little troubled position with black pieces against Lars Oskar Hauge, but by finding really good defensive moves and defending for quite some time, he actually managed to win the game eventually. And on the last board, I played against the FIDE master Mihailov, and I actually got a ending with 2 pawns up, which was completely winning, but I didn't manage to win, so it was a draw. So all in all, first round was really good. We had a stable lead. We were happy with the results, and in such, like, even though there are 4 rounds, it's very difficult for a team to recover from such loss. So Norwegians were in a really tough spot. So after round 1, we managed to win round 2 3-1. So in here already the situation in the match was really good for us and very difficult for the Norwegians. What happened was that Igor unfortunately lost to Tari in a very complicated game. It was a very sharp game, and this time it was Tari who ended up on top. And the other 3 games we managed to win. So it was all good. In the round 3 and 4, we finished both of the rounds 2-2. So it was a draw, and already in round 3 we secured victory in the match. So so the ending was pretty uneventful, but and in the same time, Norwegians never really had a chance to get back from the horrible match start. So that was really good for us. Now, there were a couple of interesting games I would like to share with you. And as the first one would be the game from round 1 between the team leaders Igor Kovalenko and Hammer. Igor here has white pieces, and why I find this game very fascinating is that if you look at it, pawns are equal. They have opposite colored bishops, and both have a rook pair. I mean, 2 rooks. So it's a very balanced position, and what I found really fascinating to look after the game was that how actually easily Igor's gained advantage and outplayed Hammer here, because it is a balanced position and both of the players are really strong, so it's very difficult to have a decisive result here, right? So let's just go through some of the moves. I mean, I cannot really provide very quality comments to these moves because both players are so strong, and I obviously don't have the chess understanding on the level they do, right? So, but anyway, like let's just look at it. So basically, white is improving his pieces while black is just standing waiting, because black doesn't really have very good pawn breaks where they can open up the position and gain some sort of an advantage or play. So they're just waiting to see what white is going to do. And in the meantime, Igor is just trying to improve his pieces. So yeah, so what we had a couple of moves ago a really equal balanced position, but here, like already here, you can see that white is a little more pleasant, and maybe even more than just a little more pleasant. It looks much better the position of white. Here, there's a little trick that black cannot basically take the pawn on e takes f, and also cannot protect the pawn, because if the e pawn takes f pawn, then white just basically plays e4 and wins a piece. So yeah, this is how Igor won pawn number 1. Yeah, and soon enough he won a couple of more pawns. Like now he's already 2 pawns up, and here basically it was just a matter of technique for him to win the game eventually. But what is really amazing is that like how easily he converted such a balanced position. For me, even if now I would see this position like on my board, I would say it's a balanced position. Probably gonna end up a draw, but like how you can see, he basically outplays such a strong opposition as Hammer. Yeah, so maybe actually the rest of the moves are not so important. So yeah, and here basically Igor is 3 pawns up, and yeah, and of course he won the game. And it was actually also very important that he won this game, because then of course we had this really strong start, 3.5 against half. Next interesting game was in round 2 between Arthur's Nations with black against Hammer. And this is a very important game as well, because if Hammer had won this game, then basically it would have been 2-2 in the round, and then Norwegians still had some chances in the match. But instead, Arthur's won the game, and then the match was close to being almost over, I'd say, because that is sort of advantage that is very difficult for Norwegians to recover from. But here it was really funny. Like Hammer just took on f7, and black cannot take the bishop due to rook h7 check, and then black loses the rook. So Arthur's just trying to activate his rook so that he would create some problems for white. And here, after king d6, basically black is attacking white's rook, and Hammer decided, well, it's time to queen and no time to protect the rook, so he just went for g6. Arthur's took the rook. He couldn't stop the g pawn, so he was just trying to create problems for white's king. And apparently here it's white who is in trouble, because his king basically is in trouble here, and black will end up checkmating white's king. And the fun fact here is that both if Hammer played King F2 or King F1, basically Arthurs would play D1 and promote his pawn into a queen, and it would be a checkmate. But Hammer decided to play King E3, which also is a checkmate in one move. But instead of D1 queen, Arthurs had to put D1 knight, which he couldn't do because he had the auto promote queen set up in his settings. So that was a really fun fact that he had here in this situation, it's a checkmate in one with D1, and he chooses to promote his pawn into a knight, but he couldn't do it because he had auto promote setting queen. So that was a fan fact of the round, and I'm sure many of you checked your settings to make sure that you don't end up in a similar situation. I sure did. So yeah, he couldn't do it. He couldn't promote it to a knight, and he promoted it into a queen. And yeah, anyway, he managed to win the game eventually here. Yeah, so in this case, he still won the full point, but of course, in some other cases, it could have might as well costed him a point or so. So yeah, and then another interesting game in round 2. I mean, I found it interesting. It's this game between Tom Scannons, he's with white pieces, playing against the Norwegian. I don't remember exactly. Was it the Field Master or International Master? And yeah, and if you look at this here, white is a little better, but it's more or less it's very balanced position. Material is balanced, and yeah, I would say it has some drawing tendencies, this position. But why I think this game is again interesting is because it's just how easily Tom's converted this game, how he created his chances of winning, by improving his pieces and so on. So it's really impressive. I find it really impressive when in these balanced positions, basically, yeah, one player creates serious winning chances. And here he basically won. Tom's won a pawn, and then this ending, it was pretty much piece of cake for Tom's because he's a pawn up. Pawns are on both sides, and then in these positions, bishop is very good against the knight because bishop can basically control both sides of the board, whereas for knight it's very difficult to get from one side to the other. So yeah, he ended up winning the game, and then yeah, and then we won the second round 3-1. So yeah, that's pretty much about first round for Riga Magicians in Chess Pro League. As for tomorrow, there's a new round, round 2, and Riga Magicians are playing against Ljubljana Derwolves. I hope I pronounced this correctly, otherwise please forgive me. It's a very, very strong team. Actually, we think this is going to be a tougher match than against Norwegians. They have in their lineup for tomorrow 3 grandmasters, including their leader Luka Lenic, who is way above 2600, and then two other grandmasters are close to 2600 FIDE. On last board they have a 2200 player, so it's a very, very strong team, and it's going to be a very tough match. We have decided to have a similar lineup as we had in the first match. So both of our leaders, Igor Skorolenko and Arthur Snakesons, are playing. And on board 3, Toms is not playing this time. It's Nikita Meskov who's playing, International Master, rated close to 2500. I'm pretty sure he has one Grandmaster Norman. He's a very, very strong player. So yeah, and it's his debut in Chess Pro League. And on the last board, I'm playing again, just to make sure that our rating is below 2500. So it's going to be a very exciting match. We're really looking forward to it. I hope you're going to follow us and cheer for us. And yeah, please do follow on our Facebook page, which is called Riga Magicians. We are posting news there pretty frequently. There's some fun stuff we are posting about the players, about the team. Yeah, do follow us, and if you have any questions to our players, or if you would like to know more about our team, please write us any form. on Facebook or on chess.com, Riga Magicians Fan Club. As for this first round recap video, this would be all. Thank you so much for watching. See you tomorrow. Bye.